You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin?
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub 100th episode extravaganza.
The Hundy.
Woo! The Ticket Stub is your favorite place for movie news and reviews. We broadcast, or the show comes out every Thursday at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 from beautiful Conroe, Texas. Follow us on Twitter at @Ticket Stub. Wish us happy Hundy. Can we get that trending? Happy Hundy.
Yeah.
Hashtag it. The Ticket Stub has a ticket sponsorship with the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. Visit irlonestar.com for information about the show, sponsorships, or give us a call. Leave a voicemail, 936-647-3776. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review, please, on iTunes and like platforms. My name is Connor. I'm one of the hosts of the show. Joined in studio, as always, by my friend Dick Schisler. How you doing, bud?
Word.
Chris, what's up?
How's it going?
You're back.
Yeah,
I'm
we
back.
missed you.
Yes, I'm so excited.
How was
about-
Aspen, right, guys?
Yeah, I was in Aspen. Yeah. Yes, I was skiing with my leather
boy.
chaps.
No.
Your leather boy? Is that what it is?
No,
Yes.
he was in Florida, Destin, Florida, for the Fury or Flurry. What's it called? Fury Convention.
No, he was at the Jupiter Spa. Ooh.
What's that?
That's where Robert Kraft was.
Oh yeah, you know,
Jupiter
you know,
Spa with the Flurry. Is it Flurry?
furries.
What are you
Furries.
talking about?
You
I
ever
think
heard of the
I think
furry
he means
conventions?
furries.
Oh, I've heard of that as a thing. I didn't know it was
That's where he
happening.
goes. So you go to the bondage stuff,
Oh, gosh.
and I go. Am I the Nambla?
Oh.
Or
Oh wow. Yeah. There you go.
Starting strong. 100th episode. If this is, by some chance, if this is the first time you've listened to us, this is actually a movie show. 100 movie episodes that we have put in the bank.
That is quite a milestone. I would
Quite a
say.
milestone. We're going to get nostalgic tonight,
I was
everybody.
thinking about it, and I didn't have time. I wanted to see out of the all 100 episodes if we ever did a duplicate review
Of a movie?
of
Oh,
a movie.
yeah, we've done it like.
Well, I
10
mean, like I
times.
know, Connor's the
Like,
movie.
have I ever reviewed the same movie twice?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good, like, tester. Like, do you guys even
Yeah.
listen?
'Cause I
start
feel
start
like
talking
we
and the
have.
eyes roll in the back of the
I
head.
feel like we have, or I have at least.
I never have, for
I don't
sure.
think so.
I keep track. I keep track of the ones that I've reviewed on the show, right? Everybody, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Not me.
absolutely.
I just kind of like, I want to watch that movie.
Well, there's only so many stupid movies from the 80s that you can review.
No,
Dick,
there's
and
not.
so
No, it just
it's
keeps
endless.
going.
Well, everybody, what we're going to do for our show today, it's going to be a little bit of a special show. We are going to do the rewinds where we talk about the movies we've seen over the last week. Because it's the Hundy, we don't want to totally lose everything that makes us who we are. But then we're going to do our 100th episode history of the Ticket Stub. So what I was thinking, it was, there may be some of you that haven't been around since episode 1. Some of our faithful following.
When did this start? Like 1985?
Yeah, it was actually,
Yeah, the year before I was born. Totally.
Well, in 1987, my parents had a late night, and that resulted in 88 and me being born.
Mine wasn't. My parents weren't late nights; they were all night.
Oh,
So
What's up?
He was the
What's
seventh-
up, Dad? You're a pimp. Yeah.
he was
someone inherited the stallion gene.
conceived on the 17th time.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, the seventh son of the seventh son. That's a movie that's stupid. But we're gonna talk about the
You
history.
mean the Seventh Seal?
No, the seventh son is the
Is that the Jeff Bridges movie?
yeah, the
Oh,
Jeff Bridges
golly.
movie. Where he's like, that's my Jeff Bridges impersonation.
I just did it 17 times.
Well, no, that's one of those time periods when he was in like True Grit, that movie, and then what was that, Rip or
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yes.
I think it would like 10 years from now you get a Hollywood Reporter report. Oh, during this time
He had
he
a
actually
stroke.
suffered from
Yeah,
a stroke
massive
and
stroke.
didn't tell anybody. What a champion.
Yeah, he's doing the work.
Because I was it reminds me of Val Kilmer. Remember he had throat cancer?
Yeah.
And there was a movie called A Snowman or Snow. It just might be Snowman.
I heard about that.
Michael Fassbender was in it, and
Was that where they chopped the
he-
heads off of people and stuff? And it was
yeah, in the snow,
Yeah.
like they make snowman. But basically, he's in the movie, but they had to ADR him because I think it was like during his time as
Oh.
yeah, like this, and that's my old man mixed with 9 Val Kilmer voice.
so I've got a solid Jeff Bridges. You've got a good Val Kilmer throat cancer voice.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you
Well,
who do you got?
Robin Williams. Oh.
Too
all I
soon.
got.
Too
Yes,
soon,
too
man.
soon.
Come
No,
on.
no, no.
Come on, Chris. Gosh, that's
How's that
unbelievable.
too soon?
It's not too soon. I'm
he
not
died.
making fun of him. It was an homage.
Oh, that was a wonderful homage. I'm
Yeah.
sure his family is very proud to hear that. History of the ticket stubs is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about from kind of step one, how did we get to where we are? And then we're going to do our top three, something we do a lot with different things, but our top three favorite moments or best moments of the show. Now, on our 1 year anniversary, we did like favorite game and we did favorite interview and some things like that. But this is just straight up the moments that we have all enjoyed the most on the show. And so if you're a listener, what I'd say is tweet at us. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite moment? What is some of the best things? If there's something in the history that you didn't know, because we're going to talk about some stuff that probably was never discussed on air. And so what is, how does that sound to you? And also we want to make sure that you know that if you engage us on social media or send us an email or give us a call, you'll get entered to win 2 tickets to the Grand Theater and Amstar.
You have no choice. You're entered.
Yeah, even if you there's no unsubscribe button on this bad boy. All right, you are getting those tickets.
If you say you hate our guts, you're entered.
Yeah.
Oh,
there it is. Hey.
Hey, what I mean that time.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. That time it was my fault. So let's go ahead and hop straight into the rewinds. Dick, did you watch a movie this week?
Yes, I did actually. Surprisingly enough, I watched the 1990 Pretty Woman.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So it was a very.
You were just in a mood or what?
No, it happened to be one of those situations where we're at a place where no internet, no TV was, and we had a bunch of
hellhole.
We had a bunch of old movies.
Where were you?
I was in a place called Hull, Texas. There's 700 people that live there, and my brother is one of those people.
They don't have internet there.
Well, they do, but it's like capped, so you can't just stream willy nilly.
We can't let those farmers be browsing the web.
No, I'm not kidding you. It's satellite internet. It's satellite internet, full out. And he lives on 20 something acres, and it's horses. It's like one of those kind of places. But anyway,
why does he want to do that?
Because he's an officer of the law.
Oh,
and
is
that's
he?
where he protects his.
It's easier to exploit people when there's only 700 of them. Like no one's going to report anything. You can run that place.
Yeah,
I've seen
He just
Ozark.
likes to
I've
rope
seen
and
Ozark.
ride. He just likes to rope and ride with his free time. So he's like, I'm gonna go out there. That's where I want to live.
Okay, so you had to watch like VHSs,
So no, it was DVD.
VHI.
Oh, DVD. Not
It
even
was DVD.
Not even Blu-ray.
And
Wow.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I think the first time I saw it was probably when I was like 10. It was on TBS.
Okay.
So the only thing I remembered was that silly song, and then it's like a montage of her buying clothes and stuff. So it came out in 1990, which surprised me. And what surprised me, again, Richard Gere plays a leading role. Gere, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's 40 years old in
100
this
episodes.
movie.
And 100 episodes. He mispronounces the name of actors in every episode.
Every
so,
episode.
yeah.
Why not? And he's 40 years old in the movie. 40.
Yeah. Okay. So he's like super old now.
He's old now.
He's already got white hair.
So how old do you think Julia Roberts was in this movie?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna ruin your game. No, she probably like 25.
She's 21.
Dang.
21 in this movie. And I was like,
Shouty.
man. It's directed by Garrett Marshall, who is a really well-known
Yes.
Hollywood guy.
Legendary.
Writer, director, producer. Probably his bigger movies that people who are listening, he directed The Princess Diaries. A lot of
Classic,
it's a well-known movie. But he was for where he got his big Hollywood success was a writer for Happy Days
Yeah.
and Mork and Mindy and stuff like that. So he's been around for a
Do
long
it, Chris.
time.
Do it, Mork.
But no, he and overall, I forgot how silly this movie was, in a sense of they kept doing the same thing over and over. It's like, oh, we get it, she's a prostitute,
You don't belong here, ma'am. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have the money to shop here.
and there's a lot of decisions in this movie that I totally forgot.
No, that's okay. First of all, it's not realistic because if she was really one, she would have no teeth. And she has a mouth.
Experience they have no.
full of teeth. Like those teeth, those are not. No. She's has very good dental care.
Hey, can I say that me and Lindsay on our honeymoon were in Paris, France?
here we go.
We got pretty woman. So we were touring around all these cool things, and there was this one like kind of fancy area, and she wanted to go into the Ritz. Lindsay thought that would be really cool to like go in there, and we were gonna like go to the bar and have a drink at the Ritz or something like that. And so we walk in, and the doorman instantly is like, and people are walking in and out and in and out, and then we walk in. He's like, excuse me. What's your room number? And it's like, oh, no, we were just trying to. No. You can't be in here.
Oh my
They
God.
escorted us out, and then I pulled out like thousands of dollars, and I was like, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't have any money, so it was just more
That's
shameful.
crazy.
It was just more the shame part, not the money part.
Well, that's what she experienced, so we understand you got Pretty Woman.
I got pretty woman, man.
I thought you got hit by a prostitute or something like that. I was waiting for that. But no, what's funny about this movie is, I go, would they have made this movie today? Because a lot of it is like it's a stereotypical '90s, and there's a love story in there for some reason, And the fact that
some reason.
Richard Gere's character just randomly changes for the good. I'm like, no, this guy is like straight cutthroat. That's where he's gotten himself in this corporate world.
The prostitute with the heart of gold changed him.
Do you think he's gonna change in a week's time? And I think they made this movie today be a really big disappointment. Like I would say Julia Roberts definitely has her magic in it, and I know Holly really enjoyed watching it. So there's that.
Was it on streaming? Oh no, sorry, DVD
Yeah.
in Hull, Texas. I forgot. So if you want to watch this, you have to go to Hull, Texas. Hull.
Whole.
You have to go to Hull.
I thought he said, "Oh."
Yeah.
You have to go to Hull, Texas, and find the DVD in his brother's house.
Did you watch the special features? I'm just
No.
curious.
Surely not.
No, it's kind of this movie. I kid you not, seemed to have like 3 endings to it. Basically, just kept.
Maybe
going.
you actually did watch the special features.
The deleted scene.
No, really.
Where she gets a lot of
there was like
dental
3
work,
shopping.
right
There was
before-
like 3 shopping scenes, and then there was probably 2 or 3 scenes where it just showed that she didn't belong in his world.
That movie took advantage of the montage, right?
Oh yeah, heavily.
Okay, yeah.
And
Heavily.
she was in the bath a lot.
Yes.
Yes, as I
And she had a
recall.
lot of downtime because he was off doing his corporate world things. And I love Jason Alexander trying to basically rape her
Oh,
in a couple scenes.
don't remember that.
So
She's like 3 feet taller than he is.
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
well, what kind of weirded me out about the main character, his Edward Lewis is his name, but he's a corporate. What they call him, like a corporate shark, where he'd go in and he buy a corporation and just tear it apart, sell it piece by piece, never like building. The whole joke was he never built something; he just tore it down. And I was like,
But with Julia, he did decide.
well,
to
that's
build
what's
something.
kind of weirded me out. I was like, what's wrong with doing what he's doing? Like I still didn't get that. And then
This is a movie for women, Dick.
and then what's strange about it is why all of a sudden did he choose to have this?
You like that?
I really do believe that because they were totally surprised that he's hanging out with a woman, and then they were totally surprised that it was a prostitute. I'm like, I don't know if I have a workmate who you never see with a woman, and then all of a sudden he just has this random woman here all the time. You're like, what's going on over here?
Well, she's like half his age, and
Because you're talking like top corporate stuff. This isn't like, oh, hey, we're buddies and we work at Academy together. It's like, no, this is like, it's my business to know what you're doing because you might affect our business.
You know, that would be a good movie, though. 2 guys that work at Academy.
Yeah.
And one of them shows up with a really good-looking prostitute.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
We should write that.
Okay, yeah, we'll get started right after this.
We should.
101st show. We'll
But I
do that.
watch this movie. I would say if you're with a girl or significant other or whatever, it's an easy movie to watch. A lot of it doesn't seem too believable because it was made in the 90s. And it made me laugh because the opening scene, the reason why they get hooked up is because she knows how to drive a stick. And they're talking about how sweet this car was. It was a Lotus. I don't know if you know anything about cars, but like Lotus is like the cheaper supercar.
Yeah.
It's like you can get them for like $45,000. So in this movie, they're making it sound like he's just it's not his car, it's Jason Alexander's car. Maybe that was the joke. But yeah, it's
That happened to me at a party one time.
You drove stick shift.
Well, you
on
got
the
Pretty-
road?
you got Pretty Woman?
No, this was a long time ago, and it was.
Did you Pretty
I probably
Woman a
shouldn't
person?
Say, but no, I was. It was a party, and we had to make a run to the store, and I went with
For what?
this girl for
Refreshments.
for thing
for-
something
for pickles.
And, yeah. Yeah, and
To return some
so I went with this
VHS
girl,
tapes.
and I didn't know her. I didn't know her at all, and it was just her and I, and we went, and she drove a stick shift, and I was like blown away. Like it was very impressive. I was very impressed by it.
And that woman became your wife.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, she did not.
She became
No.
she became a
No,
prostitute.
there was a stony silence from the driver's seat the entire way there. So yes,
Weird. Normally that ends
yeah.
in love, but
No,
I guess
it
this
did.
time it did not.
No, it did not. No.
The one part of this movie that would be not well received today is it doesn't glorify prostitution, but it definitely doesn't talk about like the difficulties, right?
Well,
Like it kind of dances around the fact that like this is a really broken person who
Well,
decides
you could tell Julia Roberts really wanted to touch on that because she talks about the casual lifestyle of a prostitute. But then you start going, like, the layers start getting peeled, and she's like, oh, she's only been doing it for so long, for a short
first
period of
client.
time. Yeah, so it's like, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's not that bad.
and they made little hints like that. I was like, man, they're really trying to softball that she's a prostitute. Like,
Yeah, I don't think that'd fly today. All right, well, Chris, what'd you watch?
Now I'm gonna need some help with this because
goodness.
I usually have
Richard
things written
Gere.
Richard Greer. Yeah.
Is it Greer or
No,
Gere?
it's Gear.
down. Gear.
All right.
So, Chris, you've had like 3 weeks to watch a movie. Surely you've got
I
one.
have. I do have one, but I
You need to
usually
look up
have,
IMDb or something?
yes, please. I usually have many sheets of paper in front of me.
You need to
that
look
I-
up some reviews for you.
that I gather information from. I do not have it with this one, But I watched Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, I started that yesterday, so I can
Yes.
I'll tag on.
You haven't seen it?
No, I definitely have.
Okay. Well, this is my first time seeing it, and I saw it the other
I'm sure I
day.
Have you
reviewed it.
seen any of the other movies?
I saw the first Iron Man, but that's it.
Let me say this: I've seen every single one, and I started Infinity War yesterday to try to just, because I want to go see Endgame, and I started to realize it's impossible to remember how all these characters know each other. Why did Thor lose his eye?
Well-
so I started reading this thing that went way too in depth about
Yes.
the timeline. It started in year 8000
Well,
BC or something.
Yeah, I think that was kind of if they had to go back and redo those movies, they would definitely do more of a timeline, let you know what's going on. Maybe like previously on
Yeah.
Marvel Universe.
Oh my gosh! And if I haven't seen any of them, so think of how I felt.
So what do you need help with here?
I
got the-
didn't
got the
know
IMDb
what was
pulled up.
going on at all. Nothing. Like from the beginning. I knew Loki was Thor's brother, so I got that. But you're right about the eye thing. I had no idea what the deal with that was.
Yeah.
But I thought when Thanos killed Loki in the beginning of that movie, I thought it was very graphic for a PG-13.
Yeah, it was.
Movie was
He kind
very
of crushed his neck, right?
Yes,
there was no
yeah.
penetration.
Oh gosh.
Well, well, I
No,
don't know.
no sword, no weapon, no weapon.
penetration.
I thought it was very graphic, but I really felt like you absolutely 100% had to have seen the other films before you watch this movie,
Yeah.
because for the first 3/4 of it, I was like, "What?"
I don't think you had to until the first Avengers movie. Like if you missed the original Iron Man, or if you missed the original Hulk, maybe even the first Thor, you're okay. But once the Avengers movies started teaming up, then the plot kind of actually seems to piggyback off of itself at that point.
Well, there's a lot to be said for the fact that that's the way I believe they should have done it.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like an homage to the fans, like Endgame is, that I'm told. So it's nice that they did that. Like they didn't make it for anybody. They made it for the people that enjoyed the Avengers movies, which is really everybody except for me because I haven't seen them. But so that was cool. But I just felt like I was pretty bored. Like through the first.
It's like 2.5 hours
Really,
long.
even like I remember being bored at the big battle on the desert planet, that is his old planet.
Yeah.
When it was like Spider-Man, Iron Man, like it was like the big finale fight.
Well, I enjoyed that. Like the last 30 minutes, I was like, okay, now I get it. And this is a good movie. I really enjoyed that.
Endgame is 3 hours long.
It's, with trailers for us, it's 3 hours, 15 minutes. You go down to a theater, down the
Okay.
way, and
Yeah,
you're
one of
looking
those
at
Pretty Women
You're looking at
theaters.
340.
Wow.
Like,
They do
is it-
40 minutes of trailers?
Well, it seems like it. But 20, I think it's like 25 minutes. But yeah, it's
So what do you
very,
need? I got the
very
IMDb
long.
pulled up here. What am I doing
what's
here?
strange to me?
So I'm not really describing the movie at all.
What's strange to me, Chris, is why would you watch this movie? Are you going to watch Endgame?
I think so. My wife wants to see it.
Because I think a lot of people are at that point with this movie Endgame where they're like, we've already been invested 10 years. We've seen the movies. Like at one point, we got to see most of them. Now it's like
how it started with me watching Infinity Wars was Endgame. I was checking like the quality of the presentation. I was like, well, let me just skip to the end because I'm sure there'll be some sort of big battle, so I can check the sound and everything, make sure it sounds good. And I did, obviously. And there's a big battle, and I watched the entire ending. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should
You got a
check
little
this
FOMO
out."
now?
So
You're like,
so I know the
Well, hey,
entire. I know
what's
the
this
ending.
whole Avengers thing about?
Exactly. That's pretty much what happened. Yes.
Old
that's
man
pretty much
Chris
what
is like,
happened.
there might be something to this whole Avengers
Yes,
thing.
that is what happened. And, so,
and then he watched all the Transformer movies. Is that what happened afterwards?
no, I haven't seen all of
Is
those.
Stan Lee in Endgame? Do they do some sort of like CGI with his?
At the beginning, there's a little thing to him.
I wanted to watch it before this episode, but we're recording it. So
Yeah, a little early tonight, so we didn't have time for that. Infinity War, honestly, Chris, we could talk all about the movie, but I don't think we really need to because I've talked about it on the show, and I think pretty much everybody's aware of the Avengers.
Well, let me ask you this,
except
Chris.
for me. It's
Have you
so
heard of
weird.
this? Have you heard of this
Yeah.
Well, like,
Avengers?
one of the things I was reading a little deal about now what they think they're going to be doing with movies such as Endgame and Infinity Wars, they just need to have entertaining battles and not have any substance to the characters.
Well, they'll never do that.
And did you feel that way? Did you feel watching? You're like, I don't really know what's going on with each one, but it looks good and the plot moves.
Well, I didn't think the plot moved because I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I kind of knew Thanos was the bad guy, and I
Well,
knew they were
that's what I'm
trying to
saying.
stop him. And
And
I
that's
knew,
it.
like, I didn't really know what his motive was until the end. But one thing that I got to give extreme props to Marvel for this is that it was not a happy ending, and that goes back to the fan thing.
That's bold to do that.
It is very bold. Yeah, that they just were like, well, we're just going to do the ending the way that we feel like it should be to set up the next movie, and it was a complete downer. I think everybody agrees with that.
It was, yes.
So I got to give him props for that. It's very risky to do.
I didn't like Thanos' little sidekick, who was that tall, skinny, creepy guy that was always like.
That mean the Four Horsemen?
I thought that guy was cool. Like in the
He did?
beginning, it was
What's that?
kind
How
of
come
cool.
he can just control like anything? Like, what's
Yeah.
that? Like, that seems like he should be the Thanos. He can control like anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think
Just
a
wrap,
lot of
that's true.
wrap
He-
Thanos in metal.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, that's what the thing.
He's like, I praise the High Lord.
The problem with those kind of movies is no one really understands the full depth of each character, and you're kind of like, well, I thought Thor was the god of thunder. Why does he get his butt kicked at the very beginning of the movie?
Well, and that makes because sometimes they're more strong. Sometimes they're more powerful than other times.
yeah, and, it just
And I know
kinda
Thor
like,
doesn't have his hammer, so that affects him, I guess, at the beginning, early
No, they
on.
literally had a whole movie dedicated to him where he didn't need his hammer. It was about him and where his power came from within.
We didn't
he went
even.
Super
and so
Saiyan.
yeah, like I was like, what?
I may be
You missed that one, Chris.
I may be mixing movies, but I don't believe he
You've
had
only
the
seen
hammer
one.
in
You've
this
only
one.
seen one. Yeah, he gets it back. He forges it. Remember, they go to like that star or whatever, and he like forges a new one. Right?
No.
This is the most recent one. It has to be true, because his sister broke it in like a couple Thors ago.
Yeah, and that's when he realized he doesn't need a hammer.
Yeah, but they make a new one in this movie. I thought
Yeah.
him and the Guardians of the Galaxy or something go to the place where he can
Yeah.
like forge a hammer. Did
And
you fall asleep at some
I
point?
might have.
Random Peter
I might
Dinklage is a
have.
dwarf, but he's a giant dwarf.
That was very interesting. I like that. I thought that was cool. That's what I would have done.
This giant,
what
giant
melted
dwarf.
a dwarf's hands together so he couldn't make anything?
No, I would have made a small person
A big person.
Big person.
Yeah, dude. Thor makes a new hammer.
Yeah.
Why does Thor make a new hammer in Infinity War if he can manifest his powers without the hammer? That's his whole like blog.
And what does that answer say?
I don't know.
No,
it's
it just
long.
wasn't cool.
Asgard has many magical weapons.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. Yeah.
Stop right there. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean,
These people, it's
especially
crazy.
with the hardcore nerds out there, they'll be like, "Oh, well, you don't understand. You didn't know this, this, and this." And I go, "Well, I know at one point when you're watching movies, it's kind of like, hey, just enjoy yourself, go along for the ride." But those particular movies were random. Like to me, it was just like I get that you're trying to get from point A to Z, but when you're just full out skipping things, and you go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go in time travel. We're
So-
gonna go." It's just to me, it makes the movie cheaper.
I did have a question. So the green girl, Gamora or whatever. her
Gamora.
name- That's what her
Hot,
name is. Yeah. So why does he decide that he wants to take her exactly?
That's his like daughter.
Not biologically.
Well, but he like raised her, her and the cyborg girl.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he took her.
Oh, in the very beginning, like when she was a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. They don't explain that. Like they like
Well, I think what it was.
shoot all of
well,
her parents
in
and
that
stuff, and he just is like,
in
"Hey,
that
come
scene,
with
she
me."
tries to kill him, tries to hurt him.
Oh,
Yeah.
he
He has a
likes
fight.
that.
He has a fight. She has a fight in her,
He likes that.
and for some reason, we want to sympathize because Thanos is the only character in the whole Avengers series that seems to have depth to it. To him, everyone else is just
Another good thing I'll say about this movie is whenever you have that many characters in a movie, and we've seen this with the DC universe, it is very hard to include everyone in a way that is
makes everyone happy.
well, not just makes everybody happy, but doesn't stall the movie out like big time. And I was a little bored in the middle of it, but it wasn't because they were trying to like show too many characters. So I think they did that really well.
They did a good job of breaking them up into different things that were actually kind of
Yeah.
important to the plot.
Yeah.
Although a couple of them maybe weren't that important to the plot. Wasn't there a whole plot where they were trying to go get something from like a fireplace and it failed, like a place where there was like a monster and they failed or something like that? I didn't get that far when on my rewatch.
I don't know, man. I must have blacked
Chris,
out.
I don't think you watched this movie.
I don't know. I must have blacked out.
I think you watched the first 20 minutes and then the end, and you're like, all right, I got one ready for the ticket stub.
Maybe.
All right, well, for me, I watched a movie called Widows from 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Who directed that? Is that
Steve McQueen.
okay? Yeah, because he did.
He came back from the grave and directed that movie.
Oh, he did. Yeah, different Steve McQueen. So this is from 2018, set in contemporary Chicago amid a time of turmoil. 4 women with nothing in common except a debt left behind by their dead husbands' criminal activities take fate into their own hands and conspire to forge a future on their own terms. So this movie, basically, all 4 of these women, Viola Davis is the main. And then Michelle Rodriguez, obviously love her. And then a couple people that you don't know are in it. And and also John Bernthal and Liam Neeson are kind of the husbands who all get killed in this robbery attempt gone wrong. And they end up leaving behind a debt to this mob group. And for some reason, the mob group, I guess Liam Neeson's wife is Viola Davis. And so they think she has some money to get. And so they're trying to leverage her. Basically, we're going to kill you if we don't get the money back. And so she assembles the widows, hence the name, and they're going to do this heist because Liam Neeson left like one more heist in his journal, like all mapped out or whatever. And so they were going to perform the heist and then get the money to pay off the debt and also have some left over to like start new lives or whatever. And so all in all, this is, I don't know. It's fine. I heard this was really. I heard like everybody was like singing this movie's praises when it came out, or maybe not everybody, but I heard read some articles, heard some podcasts where they're talking about how great this is. This is not great. This is okay. Colin Farrell is like the corrupt politician, and his dad is Robert Duvall, who I think Robert Duvall does a really good job in this. But there's some things where there's stretches of this movie that are just totally unnecessary. And Viola Davis is like a jerk to these other three women that she's working with she's like the leader, but she's always like kind of negging them, and like saying like mean things to them. And then she'll tell them all to meet up at like 7 p.m. and she doesn't show up till like 8:30 probably, or stuff like not respecting their time, things like that. There's just one whole scene where they're testing how much money they can run with on their back in these backpacks. So she makes them assemble like a long time before, and they pack a bunch of like little sandwich-sized Tupperwares with dirt. And then it's like, why are we doing this? And they're like, we don't know. She just told us to do it, so we're doing it. Why are we doing this? All they do is they take all that and put it in one of the backpacks and practice running. I was thinking, like, there's a lot better ways to do that don't take these girls like 6 hours of time before they can. Anyways, that's probably neither here nor there. The worst part of this movie is they try to kind of like catch you off guard with some things, and it was kind of, you could see it in my opinion. It wasn't tricky enough for what it was trying to do. I like Steve McQueen. I think he's made some good movies. This one's fine. Perfectly good one to watch, like on a date night kind of thing. It's got something a little bit for everybody.
Let's get a little controversial with this.
Oh,
so when it comes to movies like Widows, what do you expect to enjoy? Like, to me, it's like no.
The funeral of the husband.
No, I meant more of like you want a good heist movie.
Yeah, you want a good heist, yeah.
and you want
the heist wasn't that good, so that was a letdown.
Yeah, so you want a good heist, so don't fail at the heist. If you fail at the heist, then make it interesting characters. And if you don't do interesting characters, basically the outcome you don't really care.
See,
and this is a controversial point. Remember that Ocean's 8?
Yeah,
that's what happened to that movie. Was the heist like? It was funny because you're trying to make a movie.
It's like they were never in trouble in Ocean's 8.
Yeah, like there wasn't there. What's the risk here? And then what's the reward? And then it was kind of like, oh, what about when they find out when they stole all these diamonds? Like, I thought we were just trying to steal one diamond. No, we stole the whole collection. Somebody's gonna get pissed off about that. Like,
probably gonna care. So this one, the heist doesn't go perfectly. I mean, there's some trouble. I mean, it's not, it doesn't go perfectly, but it definitely is not the centerpiece. And it's not like an Ocean's 11 movie, for instance, where the heist is like, you're like, oh man, that was amazing. That's not the part where they get real tricky with things and everything. I think what they want is for you, because they spend a lot of time with each character, and they want you to really care about these characters and like care about the journey they're on. And I think that's probably where it misses a little bit. Is it's like you care some, but it's just not. For me, I heard that it was really good, and that's I think what the problem was. If I went into this with no expectations at all or thinking it was going to be bad, I probably would be like, oh, that was actually pretty good. But I went in with people telling me this is a really, really like one of the better movies of the year. And that, to me, was not true. So, anyways, Widows, check it out if you want. Good date movie. It's got some, it's got something there to watch. It's not bad by any means, but not maybe what it was being lifted up as by some of the others. But it has strong female leads, and I think that's part of why it was probably getting a little bit of love. But anyways, let's go to break. What do you think?
Right.
100th episode. Keep the momentum going.
Yes,
Boom.
Hundy.
Hundy, baby. Hashtag. What was my? I forgot.
Hundy?
Hundy strong? Hashtag,
Hundy strong.
is that bad? Hashtag, getting the Hundy. Hashtag, Hundies for days.
Getting in those Hundies.
Getting in those Hundies. It's like a car commercial. All right, well, we're going to be right back on the Ticket Stub, doing Ticket Stub history and our top 3 best moments of the show for 100 episodes. So stick with us on the Ticket Stub.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest in state-of-the-art projection and sound.
including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
We're back on the Ticket Stub. Hundy! 100 episodes strong. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. It's
Thanks for this. Our chemistry's really
quite-
clicked after all this time.
It is a really big
just-
accomplishment.
I'm just thinking
I love
about
things like,
getting Pretty
yeah.
Woman tonight.
Oh, you want to go to a nice store? Get
Yeah,
Pretty
I
Woman?
want to get Pretty Woman. It could be that could be mean so many.
Yeah, there's a lot of plots in Pretty
I
Woman.
got Pretty Woman. This girl drove it with a stick shift. Pretty Woman.
So 100th show. If you missed the first segment, we did our rewinds. I talked about Widows. Chris talked about Avengers: Infinity War, and Dick talked about Pretty Woman. Timely.
Okay, so
relevant.
We all kind of remember that movie. There was
We're gonna talk more about Pretty Woman.
I asked Holly about this.
So yes.
So say you're Julia Roberts, and you're stuck in the hotel room from the rich guy, the Ritz Carlton, wherever that she is, and only clothes she has are the hooker clothes, right?
Oh.
So that's why she gets turned down when she goes to the
I think we
stores.
should- I think we should call them a different term for those clothes.
Our risque
working
clothes,
her-
risque clothes.
charlatan clothing.
I got Charles. Yeah, concubine clothing, whatever you want to say.
You don't have to pay for a concubine.
So I go, Holly.
Only once.
I go, Holly. Couldn't she just grabbed a robe and
that seems fair.
worn the robe and said like, "Oh, I
The
don't
Ritz has a robe for sure.
like yeah," and then you go to the store and be like, "I don't have any clothes."
Okay, that'd be weird too.
Well, they might be no, and you have the money.
I don't
You
think
have
that
the
would
money, and it's like, "Oh, my clothes all got ruined in the suitcase that got burnt." Whatever.
My clothes got stolen by
Yeah.
the clothes bandit.
And that's what kind of weirded me out. I was like, why would you choose to wear those things and then not expect to get looks and
The
treated
problem
that
was
way?
you got to go to like Walmart first and buy clothes there, and then you go to like Old Navy and buy clothes. It's like a stair step. Like you have to go to
You know
slow.
what's funny though? The clothes she was wearing as a charlatan are what
With probably the
are
wear the
very
Met
popular
Gala.
today.
Oh, really?
Like in the normal.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
But
Well, no,
anyways,
I asked her, I was like, why would, especially if you're a working girl, you should be used to people
the
judging
politically
you
correct term is
immediately.
charlatan.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I was like, you know what, we gotta get in depth. What if you're in her eye, from her eyes, what's her
Walk
level
a
of
mile in
expectation?
those high heels.
Yeah.
All right, with the 100th episode, we're getting, we're gonna get a little nostalgic today. Let's do the history of the ticket stuff. So what we're gonna do, we recognize that some of our loyal listeners, some of our stubbies, have not been there since day one. And even if they were there since day one, you may not know everything it took to make this wonderful team assemble and everything it took to get us to this quality product that we produce on a weekly basis. So I just thought we could start from the very beginning. And Dick, I want you to start briefly, just talk a little bit about, because this doesn't have to do with Chris and I. And we don't
Are you
care
trying to
about it that
warn
much.
me?
I'm warning you.
Do I get-
But talk about like how did this station even come to be in the first place? Because some people probably have no idea about that.
Yeah, so I started Lone Star Internet Radio because I wanted to have my own radio station, and basically that grew into what we are today.
There we go. That was very,
That
very
was
quick.
very brief.
Yeah. So you weren't satisfied with the other radio options around?
Yeah, Lone Star's goal is to be a community radio station for Montgomery County, and I noticed a lot of public access stuff or even mainstream things. They don't really, at one point, they lose what they're trying to do for the community. And I really wanted to create a platform where anyone could be involved. You don't have to be, a radio star. You don't have to go to school to be in radio. You can I can teach you how to do it, and you do your own programming. And that's where it kind of opened the door for a lot of people to a lot of topics and a lot of variety because people want to do it, and you build it, and they'll come.
Very field of dreams of you.
Yeah.
How many different shows would you just guess you've had since you started? Like, even if they've come and gone. And things like
I think we've had about 37 shows come and
that.
go.
Wow. Okay.
Between now and
I
then.
thought like a rounder number, like 40 or something. 37.
Yeah, something like that. So,
There you go. How many have made it to 100 episodes?
Ooh, very. I would say about a third of them. A third of them. Because,
Top third?
Because
Maybe
one
that's
thing
like
you
my
have to think
GPA.
too. A lot of the
Top third.
a lot of shows that have been around. Like we've had shows that have been here for 5 years, but they're once a month.
Oh.
So
Takes a long time.
Takes
in
a long
that
time
case.
to do that.
And then some are probably like more than once a week, I guess. And
Yeah.
that would get 100 a lot faster. So we're better than most of the shows, is what you're saying.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. So then next up is, so Dick had the radio station going on, but the ticket stub had not yet started. The baby had not yet been even conceived, more or less born. And so then I come on the scene, and that was through a connection with a lady named Cindy Cochran who had a daily.
Who we all know.
Chris, do you know Cindy? How's
Oh.
that?
She goes to the theater all the
Yeah,
time.
she goes to the theater, and I was on the show a little bit.
You were on the Cindy show?
I was. I did y'all's show, and then I did her show. Before I
She
was
got
on
really
this
she
show,
got pissed
so.
off because we got him on our show, and she got really jealous because she's like, I was the one who, I'm the one that goes to that theater. One of my favorite memories.
Are we talking bad about Cindy now?
Yeah, so one of my favorite. So we had Cindy Cochran shows. Cindy's a wonderful woman. Look her up online.
Yeah, she really is.
She is
Lovely. Okay, so anyways.
She does a lot of great things, but what
Well,
I
she is a
love.
wonderful. I've known her for like my entire life. So
Well,
she's a good lady.
yeah, she had a show for like 2 years with us, and she always brought some entertainment. But one of my favorite memories of her that included Chris was she talked about going to theater all the time, and one thing she always mentioned was bringing in food.
Oh,
And like
sneaking in.
like sneaking in. I'm talking like hamburgers and chicken wings and like stuff you wouldn't think.
I like when people bring in food that's not like easy to eat. In
Yeah,
the theater.
like you'd think, oh, what am I sneaking in? I was sneaking some candy, make it look like I bought the candy. But no, it's like she brought him full of meals, and I don't know if you were here, but you were here for our show, I think, before, and she was just sitting there chatting about it while you could hear her. I felt like you go, okay,
Yes, I think I was listening. Yes.
yeah, and you're like, and I go, Cindy, he's probably listening to you say it, and I don't think he can like be okay with that. And I just never forget that because I was like, man. Why would you tell somebody you sneaking food to their?
Not a good strategic move. I know somebody who brought a Chipotle burrito into your theater one time, Chris, and ate it in the theater. That seems like a.
Where did they hide it?
You tell me.
Probably
So-
some purse.
Well, okay, well maybe so. So anyway, Cindy had her
To
show.
each his own.
Cindy had her show, and she asked me to come on one time, and it was fine. And then she was always. It was a daily show, so
Well,
she
she's
was,
a big movie person.
yeah. So
and
she was always needing guests.
She's like the ideal grand customer because she'll come and see any movie.
Yeah, she
She'll
just
bring her
shows up.
kids,
She just shows up and like,
grandkids,
it's like
go
what?
see.
She's the person who comes like at 11 a.m. and is just like, "What's on?" Just talk to me about. She doesn't check
And now that
Fandango
the
or
daiquiri
anything.
bar's open, no telling what she's
Yeah.
going to be doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she started having me come on like about every other week, maybe or something like that on Fridays, and we talk a little sports, talk a little movies, which are two things that I at least know a little bit about. And finally, after a little while, I got to know Dick a little bit through all that, and we went to the same college for at least I don't know how much we overlapped or whatever.
We never saw each other.
We never knew each other before.
I was in the cooler circles.
Yeah, he hung with the edgy kids.
Yeah.
And so anyways, at one point I remember just finally saying like, "Hey, do you have any shows about movies only? Because I would love to come be a guest on a show about movies." And he said, "No, I don't, but I've been wanting to start one. Do you want to start a show?" Which was not the reaction I thought I was going to get. Like, "Do you want to start one?" And I said, "I don't know anything about it, but why not?" And so then that conversation.
In reality, I didn't have anyone to talk about crappy movies to, because I've been helping with movie production since I was like 10, and I was basically the editor for several like student films and things like that. And what I love is I kind of just liked watching crappy movies, and every one of my movie friends was always get repulsed by it. Like, why are you gonna watch Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie from 1989? I'm like, well, why not? It looks good.
It's not very film noir. I need
I learned that real fast.
the
but
DP
but
of
my
this one
favorite
is-
thing is all these guys are all snobbing, like, oh, Criterion Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Criterion, they're releasing. I was like, Criterion Collection has The Rock and Armageddon in their collection. So you're going to tell me.
First off, Armageddon's a fantastic movie.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to tell me I like bad movies and you're going to be the Criterion is where the start of all the good movies are, so then you know they've had The Rock and, of course, Armageddon in their collection. And RoboCop.
Really?
The original
Criterion.
RoboCop.
I love that movie.
So I remember we had, and Chris, you're about to be brought into this. I'm not trying to do something that you're not invited
No,
to
no,
talk about.
I'm enjoying
Oh,
listening
okay.
to the
So
history.
I remember the very first planning meeting we ever had. I think it was in the studio before it was all remodeled and different. And we were talking, we were laying out ideas, and Dick, you were kind of like, you had so many ideas. It was kind of all over the place. I didn't really know where we were going to go. And I do remember specifically you saying something about how like, you were like, "Oh, I love to watch movies at home, but I know some people love to watch movies at the theater, but I prefer at home." And I was like, "Oh, I prefer at the theater. That could be a really cool topic for our very first show." And so, anyways, I put that down as our very first show, and we had some weird rundown. It's gotten a lot more streamlined over the years, or at least we kind of do the same thing.
And actually, now, folks, enjoy the first episode.
And so, anyways, it was either that we did a test episode that we didn't actually release, and maybe we eventually did, but it was like a tester, and then we did the first actual episode. I think it was on the tester episode. I come in and I'm nervous. I used to get real nervous in the first shows. I don't know if you ever did, Chris, but you've been doing it long enough. You probably didn't care. But I would get real nervous and anxious.
I don't apply that to just the radio. Just look at me.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
I don't
honestly,
really
I don't care.
Yeah.
But I would get nervous because it was kind of, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is new. This is exciting. I came in and I was like, hey, here we go. At the Take a Stub. Oh, I was trying to do my radio voice or whatever. Like, first segment. Do you like it at the theater or at home? Dick, what about you? And you were like, oh, I prefer the theater. I was like, wait, what? I was like, no, that screws me up. I had this whole argument. We were going to argue. It was going to be really great. And it was like, and from minute one, and since, and what I didn't know then was that was episode 1 of 100 episodes where Dick would be trying to undermine, ruin,
he
go
certainly does
against,
that,
anything that
Well, I
best laid
like
plans,
it.
for
I like
sure.
it.
yeah, anything I try to set up.
Actually,
Dick-
that's part of like what my favorite things are about the show is catching you guys off guard.
No, that's what he does because whenever you're not here and I have to do the intro, he knows that I'm trying to get it right and he will interrupt every
oh
time.
yeah, oh for sure.
Every time.
Yeah, he's a contrarian, is what you call something
Yes.
like that. So then, anyways, so we did several shows. Things were going pretty well. We were having a good time. We were trying to get some sponsorships around, and we also just wanted to talk to Chris because we knew at the theater that would be a great connection. I still remember meeting you for the first time, Chris. It was like the heavens went.
Oh, wow.
So, no, I walked into the Grand and there was some.
Welcome to Goodburger.
Yeah, there was some
Goodburger.
unenthused minimum wage employee was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Is the manager here?" And they were like, "Yeah, here he is." So you walked up. Anyways, we talked. It was a good conversation. Do you,
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I think the twins still worked there at the time.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they still do. Yeah.
And so I remember you came up. I had no idea what you were thinking. I think we had a card. I think we had a business card at that
Yeah.
point that I gave you, maybe, or something. Maybe not. Maybe I just wrote it on like a piece of paper.
I don't remember.
But you said you were going to listen, and I was surprised.
I did, and I actually did.
And
I
you
did.
actually
I
did.
I listened to all the episodes that you done. I think it was through 6 at that point.
Okay,
I believe.
yeah, it was
So,
pretty early on
yeah.
that we first talked to you, and then you came on as a guest pretty early on.
Yeah, I did.
What was that experience like for you, Chris? Was it a life changer?
Clearly. No, I was pretty excited because I had done, acting and stuff, but I had not retired. I just didn't
Anything
have any
we've seen?
work.
Anything we?
No.
Oh, you're not retired. You're still
I'm
open
not
for acting.
retired.
Did you not hear last year's hit song?
Yes, yes.
Christmas
So-
time.
Anyway, I was on
Christmas
a
time.
major hiatus from being anything to do with public or performing or anything like that. And so I was pretty excited to come on, and I was very appreciative of y'all having me. So when I came here, I didn't really know what to expect, but I was like, I needed to joke. I need to make a joke that was like mildly inappropriate.
Okay.
See if I could.
Do you remember what it was?
I do remember. It was the stubby joke.
Oh yeah.
And I said I was a stubby.
Uh-huh.
And I said it was something along the lines of like, I told my wife I was a stubby or something, and she said, "I know."
It's a great
And
joke.
that was the joke.
Holds up.
And I did that with you guys.
Actually, let's play the clip, Dick.
yeah, play the clip.
Oh,
No, but anyway,
Okay, anyways, that was good, man. Oh, good.
but
What if we actually prepared and had
anyway-
like clips ready? That'd be great.
That would have me do something.
it went over
So-
okay. So once that joke went over, I knew okay, this is going to be fine. So these guys are.
What we didn't
cool.
know was Chris was like a needy girlfriend looking for a new boy, and so we were just,
Kind of,
we were
yeah,
just the
kind
thing that
of,
was
yeah.
the next thing available.
Kind of.
Well, so we had Chris on a couple times as a guest. He was a great fill-in guest. He was a great just regular guest. And then eventually it became obvious that bringing somebody else on the show was going to really help the dynamic. Because Dick, me and you, I think would go on these long tangents, and stuff like that.
I just go on long tangents.
Well, you typically do. And
Myself.
so we brought Chris on. That was always a really good thing. He came on full time. Chris, just talk a little bit about how meaningful that was when we invited you to be on full time.
Jesus.
In all complete honesty, it was very meaningful, and I was very appreciative of it, and very excited. And it was something that I'd always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Even radio wise or show wise, because we were on YouTube at that point. Well, we're still on.
We're still on YouTube.
We're still on YouTube, but now we're on Facebook.
That's right.
Live as well. So I was excited. I was excited because there was a lot of opportunities, and I saw from watching the episodes with you guys, there was a lot of potential.
That we have never achieved.
Well, but
there
there
still
was
is a lot of potential.
There was a lot of potential in that I felt like, okay, well, we can we can grow, and I think we've done that.
Yeah.
I think we've done a lot of great work over the 100 episodes.
Getting teary-eyed.
Well, we really have, and I'm very happy with the body of work that we've produced, and I appreciate it. With
do
you
you
guys.
count all 100 episodes as your own? Since technically you didn't,
No.
start at like
No, I don't know.
till like 28.
Was it something like that? 25? I was gonna say like 25, maybe. I don't know. Either. I can check the rundowns. I got them all. What y'all don't know is I've got
I
a
did.
little notepad
I
here with
did.
every single.
You did.
I count you as number one.
Wow, this
Part
is-
number
Oh,
one.
This is
from
freaking-
from number one.
Yeah.
This is deep, man.
Yeah.
This is really.
Well, so you said in the rundown, you said make sure you cry.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
definitely
He
yeah.
said
wrote that in. He's like, hey, that's how we get more listeners if you cry.
At the break, I need to check. Okay, episode 24 in the welcome it says Chris Appel, so I don't know what that means, but at some point
Well, that's
that
all.
means,
That's all you
at
need.
some point
that's all
that
you
means.
need to know, right? Yeah.
I keep all the rundowns here. I got 100, or actually, if the shows I'm not on, I don't have, but I've got most of 100 rundowns here.
You hear that? You hear that? I heard that.
Yeah.
But well, I don't get them. Y'all don't send them to me, or I don't check them. I guess.
Well, that's not true.
And so then, okay, so
It's
Dick,
probably because he's doing the rundown for those Aspen bondage
Yes.
conventions.
we're saying bondage. It's not about bondage. Is that what the leather part means?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what.
okay, I guess I never got that. I thought you were just being. I didn't. I wasn't on the show where
It
y'all
was the
made that
Leatherman
joke up.
conventions in Aspen.
Okay, so Dick, what do you think? How has this show changed in 100 episodes?
Oh, it's definitely changed in the length of the show.
It's changed many times.
One thing I like, but I never did like at the beginning were all the games we played.
We play more games now.
We still play a lot of games, so
I
I'm glad
know.
that you don't like that.
Well, it's more of like because I always feel the audience isn't involved, but then after I play, I'm like, man, I really want to play another game. So sucks to be you guys listening and girls. But I would say the way it's changed
And other.
is really the depth of the movies we go into. Because I would never a lot of movies now when I think of looking at movies, I go I gotta watch something that's a little out of my wheelhouse sometimes.
Yeah.
Or those kind of things. And I'm constantly thinking about what if I was an audience member, what kind of movie would I want to hear about? And it has to be like I want it to be available for folks. So I search out movies on streams and like streaming services and those kind of things. But then outside of that, our conversation to me has been the same since day one. Like we always have fun,
Yeah.
and we sometimes miscommunicate, but it's always for the better. Especially
we
me.
fall upwards. Yeah, there
Like
we go.
you can tell what shows I actually read the rundown for,
It's-
and then
you
what
know,
shows
you're-
I don't.
Your
And how
perc-
many is that?
I
Do
think
you know?
I've like
Your
one
percentage-
like one hand, 5 maybe.
Your percentage is getting higher. Like it used to be 0, and now it's like maybe 10 or 5%. But we're trending up, so that's all we really
Yeah.
needed to be doing. I would say that it's changed the way that I approach movies at times, because sometimes it's like, well, I've got to get one in the bank, for the ticket stub, and I wouldn't have had that reason otherwise. And also, it's forced me to watch movies I wouldn't have watched either through losing games or group rewinds or whatever else. It just brings different movies to the table, so I've appreciated that. Chris, what do you think? In your experience, you've been here for most of it, the vast majority of it.
How's it changed?
Yeah.
I don't think it has changed really that much.
We're true to who we are.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, technical stuff's changed.
Oh, well, a lot of technical
Yes.
changes. Yeah,
Technical
there you go.
changes.
Where we've
Yeah.
been available,
Good
the
job.
fact that we
Good job.
podcasted,
Good job.
all that kind of stuff. I think when we went
Well,
to
one
podcasting,
thing I want
that
to
was big.
include more is Chris's post production stuff.
Yes.
I really encourage folks to follow the Grand Theater
No.
Conroe's
Yes,
Facebook
please,
page and watch his videos he makes of his movie wrap ups for that week.
That shows when he actually
they're
gives time to something.
And
what it
you
could be
actually
like.
see a lot of creativeness. If you like Christmas time and the satire, you're gonna like these videos because they are clever. And that's one thing I always appreciate about what you brought to the table was you randomly would pull stuff out of your butt that to me it's your butt, but
Whoa.
to you it's like
Why is it all with the butts?
It is.
like it's hilarious. Like the stuff you pull out, like when you're like, oh, we had a phone call with the Jurassic Park dinosaur.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was quality stuff, man. Quality stuff. Well, do you have anything else to say? The history of the show? Did I miss anything? Any other important milestone moments? Getting a sponsor was big. The Grand Theater has
Yeah.
been a huge sponsor for us. So we want to shout them out. That's helped us. There was some time where our future was a little uncertain just because of the station needs to make money and everything like that. And so the Grand
This
Theater.
thing cost me money, bro.
So the Grand Theater's been clutch, helping. We don't actually make any money on the show, but the station we satisfy the requirement that the station needs to keep the show free for us, free for you, everything like that. And so I think one of the fun things has been some of the fan engagement that we've had over the years.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage you guys, if you're listening, continue to do that. I know it's easy to get like of passive or to fall off with some of that stuff, but continue, because some of the times where fans have suggested things or fans have engaged on other things, that's always brought really good stuff to the show.
Cool.
Yep. Indeed, it has.
What are you looking at me
I
for?
love you
I'm
guys.
not
well,
the
you were
one.
about to talk a minute ago, and then you stopped, and then I thought you'd actually say what you were going to say.
No, save it.
Save.
save it.
All right, let's do our top 3 best
Put it
moments
in that
of
spank
the
bank.
stop. Put it in
Oh,
best
whoa.
moments of the show. Top 3.
Oh, I don't even know. I did not look at that part of the rundown.
Of course. All right. Well, you can go last. Chris, top 3. Do you have these? Do you have some in mind at least?
Yes, I do.
I gave you like 12 hours notice.
I know
guys.
you did.
How much
It
time
was-
do y'all
It
need?
was 12 hours. 12.
Wasn't like he was physically installing recliner seats
Gruel-
at the theater
grueling
and the bar.
hours.
That's all he's been doing. That's where he's been, folks.
Chris has been putting
The
watermelons
furry convention happened at the theater.
Watermelon.
He
Yeah,
got
making
busted.
sure that you.
the head will get crushed by the torque.
Yes.
A couple of them aren't strong enough to crush a watermelon, so he actually like tightens them a little bit to where they can for sure crush.
We know
it.
what really happened when you go to the theater. You know, half of it was closed is because he got caught having a furry convention, and the other half of the theater. So they had to do
They were watching Homeward
they had
Bound.
to do a hazmat cleaning service for all the theater.
Marley and
Oh
Me. They
my
were watching like
goodness.
all dog movies. All right, Chris.
I don't think you
Marley
understand what
and
a furry convention.
it's where they wear the costumes.
It was a little deeper than that.
Well, I know,
Look
but I'm
it
not
up.
going to talk about all that stuff. I'm just what kind of movie would a furry convention watch? That's what I was trying to think.
Oh.
Yeah, animal movies. Chris, top 3 moments of the show. What do you got number 3?
I mean, Dick's laughing fit is one of the best ones, and I
What episode is that? I want to watch that one.
I think it was a Thanksgiving episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? What was he laughing about?
Tickling, I think.
Oh, you're tickling. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Cue it up again. Here we go. I think it might have been the tickling. That
And it was in this room. That's the surreal thing about this, because we've redone the studio, but all these great memories happened in this room.
Yes.
And there used to be a window right there, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden, and the table was
Different.
there.
Yeah.
But
Just a few inches
no,
over.
but that's cool that this is all in this one place.
all these memes, man, happened in this place. Something it's not on my list, but I was just thinking. Remember Jake?
Yeah.
Man, R.I.P. Jake. Where you at, buddy? Is
He
he?
moved on to bigger, better things.
Did he? Is he doing something cool now?
Yeah,
he
he's-
worked for Fox. He works for Fox.
We should reach out to him and see if he'll come be a guest on the show sometime. Just
Yeah,
does he live in
man.
the area still?
I think so.
Okay. Well, for me, I did a tie for number 3 just because I had so many moments that I couldn't contain them just to a couple. And so the number 3 tied. Number 1, one of them was when Dick lost. I put when Dick lost it. And so when Dick went on his giggle fit, I couldn't remember what it was about, but tickling sounds very accurate.
Yes,
that it was about you having a tickle room or something, or you love tickle fights. Was there a movie called Tickle Fight?
It was a stand-up special, Craig Ferguson's Tickle Fight.
Yes.
At the time, we didn't know what it was, and I said that I was
Tickle Party or
I was
something.
in on it.
Yeah, you love
because it was
tickling.
tickling. I love tickling.
Nothing wrong with
Chris,
that.
you definitely. I think we've seen all the weird stuff you can bring, or maybe not, and maybe you just postponed it. But there was a solid stretch where every week there was something you were saying that was,
Yeah, I'm out of material.
that's all you got. And then the other one was the T-Rex interview that Dick already talked about. When Chris came in, we had no idea what that was going to be, and that was like the first time that you really did a post-production type thing. You've done a few since then, but you said, "Oh, I actually have a special thing I want to play. It's an interview that I was able to get," and it was him interviewing one of the Jurassic Park T-Rexes, and it was, gosh. That legitimately, I was dying laughing. I had no idea to expect it. That was freaking hilarious.
Too bad,
And when
that,
you played
too
it-
bad that last Jurassic Park sucked.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately.
when we played that, I was so embarrassed. Like,
it was
because
so
once I heard
funny.
it and then I saw you guys' reaction, I was like, oh man, I don't know what I did just then, but no, it turned out okay.
It was worth it. All right, Dick, you have a memory?
No.
Okay, great. All
No,
right.
I'm just kidding. No, really, one thing I don't number them, but one memory I always enjoyed was, again, we hit, like with Chris Wood. Every time he'd bring something random, you knew it was gonna like he had no idea what it was gonna be, and it allowed me that one time to be in a laughing fit because like that it just gets to me. The stuff you do just gets to me really good too. I love like the Christmas time in the city thing. Like I just can imagine you sitting there making that music.
How many hours did that take on Rock?
And
Not as much as it should.
yeah, and I mean I really liked it, and I was like, man, you made me want to be a better host because I was like, I don't do anything like that. What do I even bring to this thing besides I push a button?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely on the bottom of the totem pole on the ticket stub. of,
Oh,
like,
for sure. Yeah,
Actually
100%.
doing something. So
You have all the infrastructure. But
no. One of my favorite movies.
you're like
one
the
of-
money guy. Like you're money bags.
It was
over
when
here.
one of the fans called me out for not posting an episode. I was like, oh crap. I remember that time. That was a great time. Thanks, guy. Whoever you are.
Solid. Probably Wes Smith.
Yeah.
He's the one who's posted the most by far.
Yeah, he goes, if you could get these episodes out on a consistent basis, I might listen to it more. I'm like, ooh, right at me.
Roasted.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Chris.
Number 2 for me is all of the great guests that we've had, and for
Man, we've had a couple guests that have been lame, dude.
well,
Well, they're not included in all of the great guests.
No,
that we've
Which
had.
ones were lame?
Don't call out
well,
the lame ones.
but for me,
I think the lamest was one I wasn't there for. So
but all these filmmakers,
My favorite was that guy. We couldn't talk about certain things. I love when people are guests and they go. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I love when they guests and we don't have. You're gonna get y'all gonna get mad at me if I say the name, but I won't. But I will tell the listeners that there's been some times they're like, we will not talk about this. I always love those kind of interviews because I never felt I would ever be in an interview like that.
yeah, it's like,
And I'm like,
who do you
what?
think we are here?
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, what are we? We're gonna sandbag this guy, like what, or girl? And I was like, oh, this is kind of strange. And then I'm one of those people who you put in a situation like, don't push the red button.
And you're
I'm
gonna
totally going like, man, it'd be kind of nice to push that button. And
maybe better not to say anything at all.
Yeah. And,
oh yeah, okay, now I know. I didn't know who you're talking about now.
I know. I'll tell you after the show.
Yeah,
But
secret off the air stuff.
but it's fun. Like you're right. The guests have been really random and great.
Very random.
Very
and,
random.
Really great. And and even when we were doing the post-credit scene stuff, we got to talk to some really cool people like Daniel Westwood.
That was cool.
And my great friend Brad Bishop for the creature effects, and he knows Doug Jones and stuff like that. Name dropping shouldn't be.
Brad's
But,
the one that Dick's talking about.
Yeah,
that
and
doesn't
he was
like.
going to ask Doug Jones to be on the show, and I'm going to have to get on him about that.
Yeah, let's get back on it. Hey,
I
100
will.
we're revitalized.
I will do that, but no.
Jason Parker was a great
Jason
recurring
Parker.
guest. That we
Have you
had.
seen his commercials and stuff? I follow
No,
him
I
on social
haven't.
media.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really creepy how old he can look and how young he can look.
Really?
Really creepy.
It's all about the beard.
Well, I think it's just whoever movie magic happens and it's like, oh, he can play a 16-year-old. Oh, he can play like a middle-aged uncle. I'm like, it's creepy.
That's range, baby.
No, but a lot of great guests, and I'm very proud of that we were able to do that and talk to people that I admire, and that was really cool for me.
We've definitely probably outshot our coverage on a few of the guests that we've had, like better than we probably deserve as far as some of the guests
like
go.
with just for instance, Chad Miller. I mean, we ended up getting him before Fox released their stuff about the Last Man Standing show, and we got him, and before they released their stuff they had with him, so that was kind of cool.
We're better than Fox.
we did. Well, we're just a little.
No, we're better than Fox. I'm
we're a
saying
little
it.
quicker. But
Number 2 for me.
Is that show still on?
yeah, they just renewed it for season 8, so it worked. It came back for season 7, and it's coming back for season 8.
Oh, cool.
Trump. The second favorite memory for me was the first. I think it was the first remote show that we did at the Grand Theater where we all watched Rampage together.
Oh man, that was
Yeah,
great.
Oh, that was
pretty
solid.
cool, yeah.
That was solid because it was the first time that we really had been off-site, I think. I think it was the first remote that we did in general, but also it was the first time we all watched a movie together, and then we immediately went to the theater at the Grand in the lobby there and talked about it. And that was just,
Can we do that more?
we should do it more. And
Yeah.
we did it for Batman Returns again, and we've done it
That was
Halloween. We did it. I mean, so we've done it a few times since then.
What did we do for Halloween?
We had our
the party.
carnival,
The
our
party.
Halloween carnival.
Oh, that's right.
so,
Yeah.
We didn't see a movie though, did we?
No, we didn't.
No, we just talked.
I forget. After 2 weeks.
Remember when
everything's
Chris
just
went
gone.
remote and we couldn't hear him? He took the phone and he walked around and we couldn't hear him.
Yeah, and I had some good stuff too.
I'm sure it was gold. But that first remote, Rampage was great. Wonderful to talk about. We got to hang out, watch a movie together. That was just a fun time. Dick, you have another memory you could think of?
I mean, I think actually one of my favorite memories was the
Great, that's the game we're playing.
the first. No, was the first time we started recording some of the episodes because of time and because with the theater being renovated and all that kind of stuff, we had to work out because we weren't able to do every Thursday anymore. And then when we started recording on Mondays, the first time we did it, that was one of my most favorite episodes.
Yeah, that's actually my number 1. I'm going to go ahead and hop in here with you. That's my number 1 memory.
We had too much sugar that night, and
Pixie sticks all over the
yeah,
table.
and it was it went on. It was
It used to sound like it was cocaine or something.
so
That was a good show. I don't know if I did not even listen to it but
Oh, I did.
yeah, was it actually good to listen to?
It was fun.
It was fun to record. That was
But
for sure.
for an average listener,
And I think that's
trash.
That's
Trash.
that's probably our longest show to date.
Holly actually enjoyed it. Holly,
What was
my
the
wife,
time on? What was the run time? Hour and a half.
I think it was an hour and 20, hour and 28
Hour
or
and
something
20.
like that.
Oh, okay.
But
That was a good
well,
one.
you know, one thing I miss is I wish we could do it again. Is get our significant others in the studio
Yeah, that was a good show.
because I know that's kind of like a neat aspect of what we could bring more to the table.
Let's do it again. That'd be fun. So that was my number one. Was the first Monday night show that we ever did. For those that don't know this, we record it most often on Thursdays live at noon on the radio, and then podcasting on later on. But sometimes, maybe about every fourth or fifth episode, will be on a Monday night, just because that seems to be a night that works for the rest of us. And so those are just pure recording that gets played on the radio and then podcast as well. They're usually a little shorter weeks, but it seems like Monday night has a little different vibe than Thursday. It's something about nighttime versus middle of the day. We're just all in different states of mind or whatever else it is, different part of the day, a little more tired, a little more, crazy or whatever it is. But anyways, Chris, what's your number one?
My number one is the red carpet special from Jason
Oh,
Parker's
yeah.
thing. That was really, really cool.
It helped
Like,
that movie was okay.
I thought that was really cool.
That was like the most famous I've ever felt.
Yes. No, we did. And you had, but there were a big radio people from Houston there, and they were watching.
Wasn't
us.
like Rula and Ryan going like, "Hey, who are those guys?" It's like,
That's not how it happened. It was
That's
Ryan.
how I remember it.
Ryan was there for 30 seconds, and he was like, "This is crap," and left.
But I vividly remember him
the
going,
fact-
"Those guys have got it. Those guys have
Yeah. But the fact that he watched for 30 seconds, that's enough for me. So no,
happy.
but that was great, and we got to interview some of the actors, and then Reed Geddes from
Phi Slamma Jamma, baby."
Phi Slamma Jamma. So that was so cool that we're able to do that live, and the way that it turned out, I was very proud of.
Yeah, that's actually like that's probably one of our better like production value,
Yeah.
interviewing, all that kind of stuff. That was a good one. And then we got to go watch the movie, and there was the Q&A afterwards, and all that stuff. That was fun.
I had to start the movie. I actually started the movie and screwed up the beginning of the starting of it, if you recall.
I do.
Yeah.
I didn't screw it up. It was just a long,
It was
dramatic.
very long.
It was a long,
All
dramatic.
right, guys. Hey, we're gonna
pause.
watch the movie now, and then it was like cut to like 3 minutes later. Chris is up there like, "Oh, why aren't you working?
It was
Why aren't you working?"
look. It was a long, dramatic pause. But then afterwards, you all came up there and you saw exactly
did.
what I had to do.
We did. Well, that was cool. We got to see up.
Rather complicated.
I've always wanted to see the inner workings of the theater, and we did get to see the projector
little
room and
creepy.
stuff. A little creepy. A lot of room for shenanigans up there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not by me.
Furry convention.
Dick, do you have one more memory of the show? One more favorite memory?
No.
Okay, well that's good.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it overall. I mean, I kind of already. What else has been going on?
Well, we were each
I
doing
really
three.
enjoyed watching.
We were each trying to do 3, and so it was kind of like your turn
Oh.
again.
Okay. I mean, I really enjoyed the randomness of what we would decide to do, and then especially when you have those great moments like going to the theater and watching Batman Returns and talking about movies, because we all love movies. Even though, like, I bet no one gives a crap about my opinion on a movie because I like horrible movies
Fact.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think overall it's been great.
It's definitely been fun. It's definitely been a good time. So for all those out there who have listened faithfully, we thank you. We hope that the 100 more, right? 200 more. But we hope you continue to listen and stay faithful.
200 more?
That sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know.
And Dick's when you like, by the way,
What's gonna be great is when the
the
ticket
show's canceled.
the ticket stuff falls apart like 4 episodes from now. After we're like, oh, what a good time! What, this has been such a journey, such a joy. But for all those that have listened, seriously, we really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot. I mean, we would do it even if no one listened. It would just us talking into the microphones, and it's fun just to hang out and get to talk about movies. But for any of you that, if we've been a helpful part of your movie watching experience, or if we've been able to contribute anything, or if you've ever watched a movie we recommended and actually liked it, then that's good enough for us, right, guys? That's all
Yeah.
we care about.
Wait, what movie are you going to watch this week, dude?
I still Avengers.
Endgame.
Avengers is
Endgame.
what. Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
I
Yeah,
wanna
that's
see
what I want
Endgame.
to see. That's what I want to see.
Dude, we could
Yeah.
do like a preemptive group rewind of
Did you
Endgame.
see that when they released a new trailer of Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home?
No.
They had an opening like 15 seconds of like, hey, if you haven't seen Endgame, don't watch this trailer.
Oh, really?
Don't watch it.
Maybe that's why I didn't see it.
And I thought that was kind of weird.
I've got a great Game of Thrones episode to talk about next week on the show.
Yeah.
So
Are we
Yeah,
gonna get those
were
guys
they-
back on?
I'm just
Are
kidding.
you going to talk about where they had the Starbucks coffee?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
crazy. I've emailed them. No, not much
That
response yet,
sucks.
but we'll see. But anyways, but seriously, for everybody listening, tell a friend. Let's continue to grow the show. We're 100 in, but let's not lose our momentum.
I think a lot of people need to take advantage of the ticket giveaway.
We have a
Because
lot
we
of
always
tickets,
give away 2 tickets to any Grand or Amstar theater wherever they are. So if you don't live in Conroe, that's fine. If you live near one, you can still win the tickets. We mailed them.
That's right.
It's great. Snail mail. It works sometimes. And
Like probably 75%.
and
of
to
the time.
win tickets, all you have to do is just tweet us, message on Facebook, just contact us.
Engage us in social media.
Yeah, engage us. Your name goes in. And my favorite is when people say, no, I don't want those. And
Well, too bad.
that's
You
too
get
bad.
'em.
You get them. So, but yeah, it's been a good 100 episodes.
That's right.
I mean, down the road,
100 sods. That's what the kids are calling it. Now.
100 TTS.
Hundy sods.
I mean, really,
I like that.
one thing I
like
want to
that.
do, like going in the future of the show, is I really want to get more interviews going.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
get some more industry people.
Are we having a production meeting right now?
Well, I want to like, I want to,
Okay.
I want to know what the listeners want to hear more of.
Cool. Yeah,
I
please
mean,
let
they
us know.
probably
Hey,
don't give a crap about
No,
these games.
But seriously though,
The games are great.
tweet your favorite celebrity and tell them that they need to come on
Ooh.
at the underscore.
because we ask the
hard.
hard questions.
Well, no.
If they say don't talk
no.
about this, we say screw it.
No,
We're
here's
talking
the
about
thing.
it.
Here's the thing, though. We softball them, so there's
Oh,
nothing.
I know.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing. There's nothing they got to worry about. No hard hitting questions. No relationship questions.
What we really need is for someone to film a movie in Conroe, Texas. That would be the biggest
I want
thing
to
we
get
could
The
have.
Rock on and Vin Diesel. Be like, where's the beef, dude?
I'm sure we will. That's probably episode,
We're
next
La
100.
La Familia.
Mi familia.
Mi Familia. And I'll give him some Coronas. Man, that sounds like a great show.
All right, well, let's land this plane, guys. We do want to remind
That's
you
a Monday night show right there.
that would be a solid Monday night show. We do want to remind you that we're watching Flash Gordon this month for our group
Oh,
rewind.
gosh. It's 1984?
Dude, I have no idea. Are you kidding me?
Man.
But Flash Gordon, where they fight Ming, it seems mildly racist, but I know it's a classic. I had one listener
Well,
to the
you
show.
can't have an enemy named Ming?
I think he just is kind of racist. Like I think it's kind of.
That's his name.
Well, I understand.
How's that racist?
The name is not. I think it's maybe how he is. I don't know. But one of the listeners of the show, who's a friend of mine, also named Spencer, he was saying that he's been
1980, yeah.
he's been wanting to watch Flash Gordon forever, and he's excited we're doing it as a rewind because it gives him a reason to watch it. And so everybody else join in, watch Flash Gordon. We'll be rewinding that as a group.
Can you stream it?
Uh,
Do we know anything? I know at $10 on Amazon Prime to purchase.
surely that's not the only way to watch it. I didn't pick
So-
this. I'm pretty sure my picks aren't even in the bag anymore. That's my theory. Like I've got a little
Oh, it's
conspiracy theory going on.
definitely happened because I did that on purpose.
Well, I counted them out of the bag the other day, and there was like 12 when there should be like 34 still in there. But anyways, that's so for everybody listening, we appreciate it again. Tell a friend, and
looking it up.
we're excited to keep the show going. Excited to keep trying to think of new and innovative ideas to talk movies and have a good time while doing it. So, anyways, let's sign this baby off. We're all going to try to watch Endgame at the end of the month. We're going to watch.
No, Chris
Flash
isn't.
Gordon.
Chris, are you trying to watch Endgame?
Yeah.
He said Endgame.
Oh.
Well, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna go watch the Rockets. When you're listening to this, the Rockets may have already been eliminated from the playoffs, but hopefully not. I gotta go watch the game.
Oh, I just
tonight.
got a text. Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did. Dang. Oh, bummer, man. Okay.
It was
Well,
because James.
yeah.
anyways, happy Hundy.
Endgame.
cross-eyed
Endgame.
Happy Hundy Sods, everybody.
Hundy.
Thanks for hanging with us. For Dick, for Chris, for the 100th time. This is Connor signing off on the Ticket Stub.
Oh, man, I didn't hit the record button. I'm just kidding.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Thanks for checking out this show on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. This show is owned and produced by Lone Star Community Radio and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. For more information about the show, to be a guest, or to sponsor, just contact the studio at 936-647-3776 to leave a message, or email us at lscrstudios@gmail.com.